G'day legends, back with another viewer mix reviews video. But of course there is always a disclaimer with this that mixing is super subjective. So with that in mind, let's dive into it and check these mixes out. Alright, so this next track is sent in by Clint and it's called Moving or Movin'.
Moving, you know I got to keep moving. Moving, do you wanna move with me?
Hey, move on, groove on, two on, steady swinging, going back and forth. The world is mine and actually yours. Baby girl, you get your all.
I like this. This is fun. The start of the song comes across a little bit harsh and almost like the vocals are clipping the recording.
Moving, you know I got to keep.
Like that I got is really harsh and it's got the sound of something clipping out there.
You know I got to keep moving.
Just a little bit unpleasant sounding.
You know I got to keep moving.
So yeah, something in that area between like 1 to 3K is a little bit harsh. Not sure exactly what's going on there, whether something has clipped or whether it's intentional. I would just be trying to make that a little less harsh.
Move on, groove on, two on, steady swinging.
So when we get to this bit, the balance sounds nice, like, and you can see you've chilled out this area, whereas at the front, this area is really like abrasive on the ears, and now the vocals don't have much of that. So I don't know, it's a bit of a big contrast. Maybe that's the idea.
Hey, move on, groove on, two on, steady swinging, going back and forth. The world is mine and actually yours. Baby girl, you get your all. How could I ask for more? Like this, moving your feet, a slight twist. Got her dancing in the sun, amazed with the light gears. As I move on, I wonder if my miss wanna join me on a journey, learning what life is. How you
This sounds good to me. I think the kick sounds good, the bass sounds good, the vocals sound good. Overall, it's got a really good feel.
pain, like what do you do after?
Moving, you know I got to keep moving. Moving, do you?
The strings are maybe just like fractionally loud. They're probably there for impact, but also with the way that they are spread in the stereo field, there's some sort of spreading effect on them. It just makes them feel really separated from the mix, and because they're a bit loud, it makes it sound a bit funny because they are separated so much, so they just kind of like jump out. And the vocal in that section just sounds harsh.
You know I got to keep moving.
Like just, yeah, really unpleasant. I don't like the sound of what's going on there. I don't know. Maybe it's all intentional. It's the beauty of mixing.
Choose a new route. It's the ass gang. What you want? What's the move out? Tryna show her love could be like tryna move mountain. Even if you move ounces, at least you moving it off. Step at a time, ain't no movement that's flawed.
Moving,
I like all of the little additive sounds coming in on the left and the right, the ad-lib vocals, definitely creating some nice little bits of interest along the way. The fill leading into the chorus could definitely be automated up, make it a little bit more exciting that the chorus is rolling in. It just sounded like a little bit like tucked down, forgotten to turn the fader up sort of sound.
Ounces, at least you moving it off. Step at a time, ain't no movement that's flawed.
moving,
That could be 3-4 dBs louder, I reckon.
moving, do you wanna move with me?
Hey,
Moving,
I like the panning. I like that the lead's off to one side. I think that sounds cool.
do you wanna move with me?
Yeah, that sounds really cool. Like the backing vocals there. The bass is doing some really nice walking around. Sounds good. The only thing that like sort of jumps out at me musically is like the hi-hat is a little, I don't know, a little hissy sounding. I know that's kind of like that sort of hip-hoppy trap hi-hat sort of vibe, but I don't know, it would be good to just sort of like cut a little bit of that. I like the sound of that. That's just like 3 dBs, 4 dBs cut at 10K. just chilling the top of that sort of EQ, because it is very spiky. I feel like this just chills it out and makes it a bit more pleasant. Overall, pretty sweet mix. Just that vocal, whether it's like a sample vocal or something, I just find it a little bit harsh to listen to, and just maybe chilling out those hi-hats and bringing up that drum roll into the chorus. I think those things would help the mix, as well as maybe bringing those string stabs down a tiny bit in the chorus, just to kind of bring them a bit more back into the music. You want them there for impact, but just they feel slightly too loud to me at the moment. Just remember, all of this is subjective. Take what you want, leave what you don't want. Okay, so our next track was sent in by Joe, and this one's called Solace. Let's check it out. All right, this sounds pretty nice. It's a pretty cool track. I heard a couple of little like thumpy things at the start. I'm not sure if maybe a guitar or a sound needs like a high pass filter just to get rid of some subby thumpy stuff that's going on. I don't know if you can see or hear that down here. That just there. Woof, woof. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not, but I heard those like rumbles and they sounded a little out of place. So maybe just something needs a little bit of high passing to clean that up. I really like when everything comes in here, that little effect. I think that could be a little more dramatic. That sort of swelling could be a little bit louder and then really grab the silence and then hit the beat. I think that would make the drop really nice. So what kind of grabs me is overall as kind of a radio-ish, nasally kind of quality to the overall EQ of the track. Seems like a lot of things are boosted in a similar region around 1 to 2K. So it sounds like the guitar is fairly hyped around here. It would sound a little nicer to me to just have a bit of that stuff tucked back. Just sounds a little more natural. It sort of sounds like there's an effect there that's going from left to right, but it also sounds a bit crackly and almost like digital popping. So whether that's intentional, like a noise kind of thing, but maybe the edges of that could be smoothed. Like maybe you could put a filter at the top of that noise because it just feels like a digital pop and it's like a really crisp, clicky kind of quality to it. Kind of crackly poppy sound. But I think cutting some of the instruments at 2K, maybe the guitar, and I think there's like some keys in the background I can hear there as well, just feels a little hyped here. Even that percussive hit is kind of in that area as well. So there's a lot of focus right there. Yeah, that sounds really cool. I like all the percussive stuff you got going on there. Really nice arrangement. Sounds really lovely. Sounds like the overall focus of the mix is in the upper mids. It'd be nice to clean that up, but maybe even put a little bit more emphasis on the low end. So when these beats do come in, there's a little bit more weight to it. Like, I like hearing that little bit extra thump in the low end. Just having that bass and kick really come in and take over and just drive everything along nicely there. And then having those upper mids a little bit more tamed. Overall, it just sounds a bit like thicker and warmer and a bit gentler to listen to. So that could just be bringing the kick up a little bit or just boosting the low end like I've done here with a shelf. Same with the bass, just bringing those sounds up a little bit more. But like the space and everything sounds really nice. Love like those kind of, I think it's like a flute sound in the background there. Sounds beautiful. It's awesome. Very nice instrumental. So it's the same thing, like that guitar there when it's on its own. It sounds a little dirty because there's a lot of this here and I can hear a lot of the noise of the guitar. That sounds a lot nicer to me, just a lot more chill, cozy kind of guitar sound without sounding muddy. So cleaning up those upper mids, maybe that tambourine shaker kind of sound could be brought back a little bit. It just feels a little too present to me. That's about it. Overall, it sounds pretty good. Maybe just having a look at those like poppy static kind of sounds that are in there, just maybe taking the edge off them, chilling out that sort of nasally radio quality in the mix that's in the guitars and the pianos, even like the percussion stuff that's really sort of hyped around that region. Maybe bring a little bit more low end kick and bass in. I think that would just kind of polish it off nicely. If you want to support this channel, check out my website in the link below. Got a bunch of drum samples, a couple of mixing courses over on my website. Grabbing any of those is a really big support. If you buy a lot of gear online through Sweetwater, consider using my affiliate link below whenever you purchase something. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but a small kickback comes to the channel. Solid way of supporting this channel. All right, and we've got one more. This track was sent in by Dennis and it's called Matata. Let's check it out. So this sounds really cool. Solid kick, solid snare. The bass sounds fat, especially when it goes to those like super low notes. That sounds sick. It's a good bass sound, but the vocals are a little lost in there. Like they're there, I can hear them. They do sound kind of thin, and I know with this general style of music, like the vocals are pretty present and crisp, but they don't sound like they're the focus of the mix. It sounds like the kick and the bass and everything else is like what we're listening to, and the vocals are behind all of that. Whereas I'd really like to hear the vocal a little bit more forward in the mix. So let's try something here.
The last time I can't help but think about the good times. Then I fall back in your arms just like the last time. Last time.
It sounds like we could use a little bit more mid-range in the vocal.
Fall back in your arms just like the last time. Last time.
So I've got this around 600, 700 hertz with a wide bell, and it sounds like maybe the vocals have just been scooped out just a tiny bit too much. That could be a personal preference kind of thing. I would like to probably hear a little bit more body to the vocal. You could definitely still keep that kind of crispy, saturated top end to the vocal, but just feels like it just needs a tiny bit more body so it could take up a bit more space in the mix. Because at the moment it's quite thin, and while you can hear it and you can hear the words, it just sounds really hollow.
'Cause even when I know it's not the last time, I can't help but think about the good times. Then I fall back in your arms just like the last time. When you let
Other than that, I think that track sounds great. Like the music sounds really cool. Everything sounds pretty tight. Just the vocals lacking a bit of fullness and presence in the track. And obviously the vocals are a really important part of the song, and it shouldn't feel like it's second to everything else. All right, so that concludes this round of mix reviews. So we had a nice range of genres there, a bunch of different sounding mixes. It was very good to be able to listen to some of the stuff that you've been working on, and hopefully some of this feedback helps you with your mixes. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you're always looking for ways to improve your mixing skills, then maybe check out my pop country mixing course.